Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Again, guys, we are on episode 11 with my brother, Ricky Santiago. Ricky Santiago, welcome, my brother. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Today we're talking about Ricky Santiago, who's running for state representative, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. Tell me about yourself. Who's Ricky? Tell us a little bit about you so that our audience know who I'm talking to.
Well, first of all, assalamu alaikum to you as well.
Alaikum salam.
And to the friends watching. Ricky Santiago, what can I tell you? My family moved here when I was about 14 years old. After moving around, we came from Puerto Rico. After moving around in the city for a little bit, we settled into District 29, right? My father, thankfully, he was able to get a job with the Social Security, and that's what brought us here. So, for the past 20 some odd years, we've been here serving the community and working side by side with people like you. So,
Absolutely.
I have a beautiful son. He's 4 years old right now. My wife, and pretty much all of my extended family is also here.
Wow. So you've been from where? So you're originally from where?
I'm originally from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. So you came straight to Kentucky, Louisville.
Yeah. We just came straight to Kentucky.
Same as me, and this is home.
It is, man. I tell everybody, it's like, yeah, I'm a Puerto Rican from Louisville, right? I'm a Kentarican,
Awesome, bro. I mean, we kind of share that. We both came from another country and we are here, to search for the American dream. And then, so how was the transition? But you came as a young, right? You were young when you came.
When I first came, it was very different. I was the only, at least Puerto Rican. There were other Latinos, but I was the only Puerto Rican in my high school. And I had to, learn that the community wasn't as big as it is now. And it was definitely a bit of a culture shock there. But, we're resilient people. We were able to look at adversity directly head on and, finish. I'm not going to say it was, roses.
Right.
It was definitely tough, but I learned to get tougher with times. So, and I learned to not let those things get under my skin and to thrive. And actually that perspective helped me a lot in my future career.
Wow. That's great. Same thing right now.
So, the office back in the Fisher administration was the Office for Globalization. And yeah, it had a little bit of immigrant affairs, but the Office for Globalization was mostly focused on the economic development side of things and helping immigrant businesses and things like that. Through there, I was the first program manager for the office.
That's what I meant.
And in the Fisher administration, we were able to do a tremendous amount of things. Number one, we established the flagship program for the office, which is still there. It was the Welcome Academy. I think it's now called the Global Leadership Academy. And now with the transition to immigrant affairs, I'm very happy to see that program is still running. And we brought the Welcoming Conference to Louisville, which was very impactful. We were the second city ever to be certified welcoming by Welcoming America, which was huge for our community. And we led projects with recruitment out of JCPS. We collaborated with JCPS with recruitment out of Puerto Rico, and multiple other things. We were able to do some significant things. Now I'm in the office for, it's not an office, but now I'm the manager for digital inclusion and in the space of IT. And basically what I do in my day job is I devise strategies and programs and initiatives to help people tackle the digital divide. We saw in the pandemic that not everybody has access to the internet. Not everybody knows how to navigate the internet well, or they don't have a computer, or they just don't have access to the internet.
Yeah.
So we were able to do some impactful things as well. We've built over 17 different computer labs across the city. One of them
is here at the Somali Center. The one up here, he's the one. He's the one who made it happen. Thank you.
We've trained over 4,000 people and more in basic digital skills, along with our partners. We're continuously growing. We've been named digital inclusion trailblazers by the National Digital Inclusion Alliance for like 4 years in a row now. The Affordable Connectivity Program is on its sunset stage now. Unfortunately, Congress has not decided whether they're going to fund the program yet or not, which is unfortunate. Because that impacts almost 80,000 families here in the city.
Wow.
But the adoption of the program here in the city, it was very significant. 80,000 families were taking advantage of the Affordable Connectivity Program.
Yeah. I mean, hey, without internet, we could even do this today, right?
Absolutely.
Without, digital, devices or access, all these things won't happen. And that's how we connect.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, without the computer lab, it was a little bit, because we opened right before.
Yeah, right before.
Like it knew, it's crazy. Yeah. We opened it and then pandemic happened.
Exactly.
And then we have to save the whole community of 15,000 people. We have to access them in one computer lab. But, it did most of the job.
Yep.
And we always, thank you for making that happen. That's why it takes a village to raise a child. So I was one of the first cohort, and that class is still continuing, but it built my, confidence. It built my self-esteem. Yep. I get to meet all these leaders from different departments, like Parks Department, LMPD, Department of Economics, you get to know people that you need so that you can bring that resource to your community.
Absolutely.
And that was amazing, bro. I give you that 5 out of 5 star. And, we need leaders like you, bro.
Thank you.
Who can create and look for better future leaders coming up. And it's all about resource, right? That's why.
And it's about connection. It's about connecting to different communities.
Yes.
It's about learning the cultural behaviors of the community. I mean, let's take, for example, the Bad Bunny concert, right?
Yes.
People were worried so much about whether it was going to do well or not. And, hey, young folk waited to the last minute to buy their tickets. So, that's the cultural behavior. And we have to learn how that operates. And, not everybody gets informed the same way. And we have to respect that. And we have to be moldable to that and reach out to them instead of expecting them to reach out to us.
Yes.
And that's what I hope to bring as a state representative.
Yes, I see. And I mean, when I see at you, becoming in this type of leadership, becoming a legislator or trying to bring legislation and change in the community, it started from somewhere,
Yeah.
It's the reason. There's a motivation behind it. And people should understand that. And that's how we can make big changes. Sometimes you can make big changes without being in the big table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I was younger and when we originally met, I think what motivated me was that I don't want any other families to go through what my family went through.
Okay.
Right. I wanted to make this city more welcoming, more accepting, more, I wanted to put my grain of salt in there. That was my biggest motivation was our history, right? And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I had the skills to do something about it. So I went ahead and did the best job that I could. In those circumstances, and then obviously bring those skills to digital inclusion. I think what motivates me is I want to work against the inequities that exist. We can fix those things.
Yes.
It takes courage and it takes innovation, right? Right now, speaking of inequities, I think what's fueling my campaign is my son. My son Leo he's 4 years old, and he was diagnosed 2 years ago with autism. And We have been waiting, or in the autism spectrum is the correct term. We have been waiting for therapy for 2 years.
Wow.
And as a parent, as a special needs parent,
Yes.
The world takes a different perspective.
Correct.
Right? When you have to navigate the system in a certain way. And I was already aware of a lot of inequities, right? From my family, from my experience, from working in those spaces, right? My actual career led me into those spaces. But as a parent, it was completely different.
Wow.
And that, when I saw the opportunity, I decided that this can be better. We can attract more companies that work on therapy. We can expand our recruitment of speech therapists, occupational therapists, ABA therapists. We need more. We just need more because the waiting lists are just too long. And,
the kids need it.
Exactly. And thank goodness for programs like Head Start, where my son is. So we need to have that infrastructure of services and resources to make sure that families thrive. And that is at the heart of my campaign.
Wow. I mean, that I can relate to that thing you said, autistic, kids. I know families in our Somali community who moved to Minnesota. When I ask them why, they say because they don't get services for their children who need special needs.
Exactly.
And that comes back to, I used to ask myself, why are they moving out? Because someone in Minnesota and their family says, hey, we have more services here. We have more easy access. We have more, people who are willing to help, and they do. And I see the changes. So you're right. I can witness that when it comes to special needs, we don't have a lot of resources and we don't have a lot of places to take our kids. We need more, as you said, more so that our kids don't have to wait for years just to get into what they needed.
Exactly. The waiting list, we're in every waiting list in the city, right? And I'm running this campaign and we're still on waiting lists, right?
Wow.
That just kind of, wouldn't it be great if we not only had enough therapists for all the kids that are diagnosed in the spectrum, but also culturally aware therapists, a therapist that could speak Spanish, that could speak Somali, that could speak, so that they understand the cultural nuances of that. That is ultimately where we want to go.
Correct. And that's what some of the families telling me. The reason why they're moving is because there's a Somali-owned therapist in Minnesota. There's a lot.
Wow.
And they going because they feel more safer when a Somali lady is taking care of my child.
Exactly.
Because she understands his culture, she looks like him.
You're absolutely right. That is absolutely right. There is a social health determinant of your caretaker or your provider being of a similar culture as you or the same cultural background as you.
Correct. What will you do in District 29 if you get elected? Tell us about that. What are your visions?
So I already spoke about families, right? I want to make sure that families have the resources and the services that they need to thrive in our city. It's academics, right?
Wow.
I have a fast plan. It's families, academics, safety, and transportation. Right?
I like that fast. Yeah, I saw it on your website.
We already spoke about families.
Families, yes.
Let's talk about academics. Hey, we need to have world-class educators, world-class education. We need to make sure that our teachers are paid well, their pensions are protected, right?
Yes.
And we need to recruit teachers from all kinds of backgrounds.
Correct.
And the only way that we do that is by protecting their pension, make sure that their future and their value is protected. So that's number 2. Number 3 is safety, right? We need to make sure that our first responders, our EMS, police, fire, they have the gear, the tools, and the training that they need to do their job justly and equitably, right? And finally, it's transportation. I mean, you and I live in similar places. You know that we need road expansions. That's number 1.
Very narrow roads, man.
Exactly. We need road expansions because that goes to safety, right? How does the fire engine get through the roads with such small roads? Yes. How do our kids, when they get off the bus, have to walk on the shoulder of the street?
No sidewalks.
Right? No sidewalks.
I saw it.
Right? Those are things that we need to improve. I want to see if we can work on a better public transportation offering out of District 29, whether there's a hybrid concept or some sort of innovative solution. But transportation, man, we need lighting.
Yes.
At night.
Traffic too is hard there.
Traffic, and there's going to be so much economic development happen in District 29 that the infrastructure has to follow, right? There's a new Kroger coming. I think there's a big box store coming. There's going to be some housing developments happening. The infrastructure to make sure that the quality of life for people that live there already is not impacted has to follow. And we need to bring back tax dollars to that district to make sure that happens.
That happens. Yeah, I mean, when it gets to 3-4 p.m. When I go pick up my daughter from Fan Creek Elementary, bro, it takes sometimes an hour to get to.
There's no easy way to get to Fan Creek.
I'm like, what's going on?
You can go from the highway. You can take the back roads. There is no easy way. Yeah.
And I believe that change can come, with what you said. It has to match the infrastructure and the roads has to match. Wow. Thank you, Ricky. This was really, and tell us, when is the election? To those who don't know, when are the days to go vote? When are they? Do you know those dates?
So it is early voting. So you have until 6 p.m. Saturday for early voting. But then the actual election is May 21st, and you have from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. As long as you're a registered voter, you have your ID, and you're in line, you should be able to cast your vote.
So mostly, as an immigrant, when I started voting, it was most complicated thing. You gotta know where you're going to vote. There's a specific place you have to go, and those things you can look it up on the website, right?
Exactly. Yes. So you can go to the Jefferson County Clerk's website, or you can just simply Google "where do I vote," and it will show you the Jefferson County Clerk's website, and then you will put in your name and your address, and then we'll show you where you are registered. So if you haven't changed your address or if you moved recently, then it's going to show you where you're supposed to go based on how you're registered.
Okay, good. And you also recommend people go vote early, like today, Saturday, until 6 p.m. It's an off day, so take a chance of that. But yeah, Ricky, thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming. We'll see you maybe next time for another episode of something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you to you. Thank you for your leadership also in the space, and thank you for opening your mic for me. I appreciate it.
No problem. And